Yo, what is up? It is your boy Roman with another video, and today we're doing something a little different. And this is gonna be an interesting one. Now, as you see by the title, The Escape at Dannemora. Now, if you don't know, my name's Upstate Remy. Now, Remy, I got that name back in like 2012-ish, but Upstate, I've been Upstate Remy my whole life because I live in upstate New York. And if you don't know, Dannemora is in upstate New York. Now, if you don't know what Escape at Dannemora is, it's a Showtime film. It's a show on Netflix and Showtime of two escaped convicts escaping prison. They're murderers. Got helped by a woman by the name of Joyce Mitchell. Now, you might be asking me, Remy, why are we doing this? Why are we reviewing this whole thing? Well, it happened an hour away from me. So this escape at Dannemora happened in 2015. This happened 9 years ago. I was currently 13. I was in school and we had lockdowns. It was the end of the year. It was June, right? It was like early June. And we had lockdowns. We literally had lockdowns because this was in our backyard. Even though it happened an hour away, this prison break, the David Sweat, Richard Matt, they were on the run for 20 or so days. And I'm just finishing up the show because I have not had a chance to watch it until now. But Ben Stiller, amazing director, by the way. Just want to point that out there. He usually is in films. If you don't know him, Ben Stiller is an amazing actor. But he did so good directing this. And the actresses, don't remember their names, but they did an amazing job as well. Now, there's a couple of weird things with this whole story, the real life thing, but also the show. Now it happens in my neck of the woods. It happens in upstate New York, and Richard Matt and David Sweat, they were not even from upstate New York. They like early 2000, late 1990. They were on some pretty serious murder charges. They they now I don't know the full details besides what happened in the show. I'm not gonna go off of the show because even though it's a true story, we don't really want to go off of maybe false information. But yeah, so if you don't know what Joyce Mitchell did in this part, she was a seamstress in the prison of Dannemora, and she actually gave David Sweat and Richard Matt or sorry, she gave Richard Matt some meat with some blades in them to escape the prison. She had an affair with both of these men, and it all went from there. Now, Joyce Mitchell had a bad rep, anyways, um, of having an affair like early on, like in what mid 1990s. She had an affair. Her husband and her got a divorce, and she got with another guy named Lyle, and the rest is history. It's interesting because when something like this happens in your area, especially when you're in such a small area of a state, it happens right next to you to where your school has to have a lockdown is crazy. And another thing, I heard back then that somebody, a part of my family's cabin, got broken into during when they were escaping, which is crazy to think about because they could have came to my school. They could have came to my house. They could have, you know, it's insane. But let's get into some clips. Let's watch a couple things to review this whole predicament. Before we hop into the video, I just want to say real quick, I'm at the pretty much the end of the show while editing this video. That and spoiler alert, yes, David Sweat gets shot twice. And he gets taken into custody. I don't think he dies. I'm pretty sure he's not dead. But the place where he got shot is Constable, New York. Literally 34 minutes from where I live. So I just want to point that out there that it's insane that anything can happen so close to you and you might have no idea. Before I'll edit this and put at the beginning. Spoiler alert. If you haven't watched the show, don't watch this video. If you want to watch the show, of course. So we're gonna watch some of this video of today from 9 years ago when this all happened. Joyce Mitchell's husband Lyle at the time talking about this, and I'm gonna be honest, Lyle, the actor that played him, did such a good job. Let's get into this clip. Let's watch a little bit of it, see what he said. Because I'm actually really curious. I never actually watched this. I've only watched. I'm only finishing up the show right now, but I think it's a what 8 episode series on Netflix, and I'm on like the 7th episode. So let's go right to it.
Him if she did.
It's funny because the actress that plays Joyce, they, she, I watched a little bit of a clip. She literally had a makeup artist and all this to look like Joyce, and she does look like Joyce a lot. And this fucking, I'm sorry, but this cop right here, this woman, she looks a lot like the one that took her in, bro. I swear to God.
Didn't go through with their plan.
like Ben Stiller did so good directing this 2 minutes. It's such a good show.
We talked to Lyle Mitchell exclusively.
All right, let's see what he says.
With his attorney, Peter Dumas.
Clinton Correctional Facility, where you work, by the way.
Now, yeah. So, sorry to cut it off. Lyle Mitchell, yes, he actually worked at the prison with Joyce. So yes, he knew the prisoners. He knew the inmates. He knew everything as well. Like he didn't know what she was doing though. He was oblivious.
Yeah, I was at the hospital. My wife that night before said she was having chest pain. Next morning.
Yes. So I'm sorry for pausing it. I'm reviewing this, so bear with me. But yeah, so Joyce Mitchell in the show, I'm guessing it's real because he's about to say it. In the show, she was having a heart attack, and she went to the prison the night before. They went to actually, funny story. They went to a King-Wok buffet in a town that I actually live 30 minutes away from. A King-Wok buffet they went to. They were eating, and one of the Richard Matt gave Joyce sleeping pills to crush up, put in his drink at the buffet, but she ended up having a heart attack. She threw the pills away and went to the hospital. And that night, Joyce Mitchell was actually supposed to go give them a ride from the prison, but she didn't show up.
Authorities say Joyce Mitchell planned to run off with the inmates after picking them up, but she never showed up.
Yeah, so their plan was in the show, at least it might say in this video, their plan was to go to Mexico because Richard Matt, I'm trying to get these names correct so I don't say anything false. Richard Matt actually wanted to go to Mexico. That was his original plan, and he told Joyce in the show, "Let's go to Mexico," and David Sweat was on board with it.
To pick them up and drive them away.
She told me that Matt wanted her to pick him up, and she said, "Well, I never leave nowhere without Lyle, never." And he said, "Well, I'll give you some pills." They give him to knock him out, and then you come pick us up. She said, "I am." That's
what I said. Yeah, she was given sleeping pills from Richard Matt in the prison and said, "Give this to your husband in his drink or something to make him fall asleep." Because, yeah, it's
not doing that. She said, "I love my husband. I am not hurting him." And she said, "Then I knew I was over my head."
I mean, man, this is such a fucked situation because it all starts from the affair she had back in 1994 with Lyle, when she was already, I think, married. I'm pretty sure she was married with a kid. And Lyle's not innocent either. Of course, yes, he's by far guilty. All they had was an affair, which is still pretty bad, but yeah. 8 years ago, David Sweat, I apologize to community for prison escape. Let's watch it. 18 minutes, we're not going to watch the whole thing, but let's get right to it. Alright, let's see.
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to apologize to the community and the people who felt the fear and felt it necessary to leave their homes or their community because of the escape. That was never my intent, and I deeply apologize for that, Your Honor.
Paul plays.
Paul, you actually got to meet the character you play, David Sweat, who's in prison, and how did that inform what you did? What did you make of him?
Well, I think it has a little bit to do with what you said about is there a sense of humanity here? Because when you hear somebody killed somebody or somebody's in prison, it paints a very loud sort of one-dimensional portrait. And it was shocking to me when we went and talked to David that he was a person, right? I mean, he's still a human being behind bars in a cage, and to see that he had a sense of intelligence, that he maybe could have been an engineer or something if he hadn't grown up in the system and fallen into trouble at a young age, just making contact with a real person was actually kind of hard and scary and confusing.
That's crazy that he actually met the person he played. I'm guessing Richard Matt didn't, or the actor didn't meet Richard Matt, but this actor met David Sweat. That's crazy. And David Sweat does act. He does seem very intelligent in the show as well when he plays him. He seems more on the more on the smarter side compared to Richard Matt. Richard Matt just is a drunk that really doesn't care. He just kind of gives it all up, whatever. That's actually very interesting. Okay, that's insane. Like not like a good type of insane. Wow. And people love this shit, bro. People love this show. Like I literally just commented on it. The fact that this escape happened 1 hour from me is insane. I looked up where my what town I live in to Dannemora, and it says 1 hour and like 7 minutes. Crazy, bro. I'm not gonna say where I live exactly. Upstate New York is still a pretty huge area, so I don't care about saying that I'm from upstate New York. Y'all will have to do some research on where I'm from exactly. But the thing is, so Patricia Arquette is her name, the person that played Joyce Mitchell. She played a very important and brave role in the show. She had to really get into the role of seducing two convicts, and she had to play into the relationship with them, and that takes a lot of dedication within the show. And I'm just I'm very like, wow, bro. Like I just can't get over it and how this happened 1 hour from me. It sucks that it did happen, but it's also very, very exciting that they could tell a story out of this, because where I live deserves recognition. We are very underrated. We are a very underrated area, even though to some people, yes, we're a small area, but it's honestly, if you really look at it, we're a pretty huge area over here in upstate New York. And Ben Stiller, brother, I appreciate you for directing the show. Like what? He really popped off. But let's watch this other video by Vanity Fair 5 years ago. Ben Stiller breaks down a prison yard scene from Escape at Dannemora.
We were able to film the scene in the real prison. It's an
crazy
incredible space. It's on the side of a mountain in the Adirondacks and has this incredible view.
Adirondacks represent, baby. Sorry, honestly, bro, I don't like to say I take pride in where I live, but I do. I do, because it's like, we don't get talked about enough. I live in the Adirondacks. I live in upstate New York. I live in a forest. I live in mountains. That's the Adirondacks for you.
It's been there for over 100 years. Just a really unique environment where all the prisoners get to go and have their outside time. So this is Dominic Colon, a great actor, the person that we follow for this big crane shot to reveal the North Yard for the first time. We basically had to get in and out in a day to shoot in this location because they were taking away yard time from the prisoners. We couldn't get in there until right before we shot, so we didn't even know how we would shoot the shot. At one point we were talking about doing it with a drone. They wouldn't allow us to have a drone in the prison. They don't like having drones flying around prisons.
Okay, so yes, if we see right here, Joyce Mitchell lives in Franklin County, New York, with her husband Lyle and Dickinson Center. Now, I probably shouldn't put where I live out there, but that is literally like not even 10 minutes from me. And I knew that already. I just wanted to confirm that that is where she lived, because that is still insane for me. I think Dannemora is like 1 hour from me, so I'm pretty sure I know where she has to go from her house to Dannemora. And in the show, it shows them driving from their house to the prison, from the prison to their house in the show. And I'm pretty sure they use some of the same roads you have to go from that location to their house, whatever, right? So it's crazy how much effort they put into this show, man, because it's true. It's true. I hope you all enjoyed this video of my review of the Prison Break of Dannemora. Like I said, this is insane. Ben Stiller, amazing job. The people that acted as Joyce Mitchell, David Sweat, Richard Matt, amazing jobs. Y'all killed it. And I'm very upset that I'm about to finish the show, because I just wish there was more to it, man. Of course, you can only do so much with a show like this because one, it's based off a true story, and two, it ends right. And honestly, I really thought that David Sweat died. I thought they both got shot. I think Richard Mack got shot, but I could be wrong. I'm about to finish the show right now, so I'll see you all in my next video. I love y'all. Peace out.